All right, so this is part two of my conversation with Mr. Tillman, who is the author of How I Stop Child Support Legally. On part one, we had a great conversation, but we disagreed on a few things. And one of the things that we disagreed on was the fact that Mr. Tillman believes if the child support services falsified information, lied basically to get you to court, and you failed to show up, by law, you can get out of child support and they can never put you back on child support again. But I, on the other hand, do not believe that. I believe it doesn't matter how many errors, how many mistakes, how many lies the child support services make, they can always correct that mistake and come after you again, especially if the child is biologically yours, which ended up proving that Mr. Tillman case was dismissed. Again, this is my personal opinion. Mr. Tillman case was dismissed because the child was not biologically his.
Oh no, let me ask this though. Let me ask this. Was the child yours?
No.
Okay.
So the child support services, again, in my opinion, had no incentive to come after him because, again, the kid was not his. All right. So this, again, is just based on our personal experience. We are not attorneys. Nothing that we discuss here is to be taken as legal advice. All right. So with that said, here's part two.
All rise.
I just want to be able to see my daughter.
Like a real man to be.
So you're just living off of his child support. We've gone over so many of these cases.
Order in the court.
All right, Mr. Tillman. Welcome back to the Family Court Podcast. You were saying that the if a case is basically closed on the intrinsic fraud, it cannot be opened again. So meaning it's closed with prejudice. And again, correct me on that part. Meaning you were able to prove that the way that they have gone about trying to contact you was all lies. You got your case dismissed. So they have no other incentive to come after you because, again, it's not your kid, right? So for someone, let's say I'm in your shoes right now and that child is mine. That child is biologically mine. I was able to get it dismissed. What will stop them from coming after me again?
Well, because the case was dismissed for fraud. And when a case is dismissed for fraud, you can't be tried again for the same thing. It's double jeopardy, even though it is your child. They had their time to do it correctly.
My argument was, when it comes to family court, that really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They may close it, but they can always bring it back, especially if the child is yours. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let you pick up there, and then and I'll piggyback after you you voice your opinion on that.
Got it. Yeah. So as I was saying, like when you in the actual code, when it's dismissed for extrinsic fraud, in the actual language of the dismissal on the actual code, it literally says if it's dismissed with extrinsic fraud, and this case, no further action shall be had. That's it. That's period. But what I was saying was, I agree with you. Yes, for a reason. Just say, for instance, if you go in there and say, well, I didn't get served, and it was within those 3.5 years, they can correct it. They may close it because they did something. There was an error or there was a mistake. Yes, they can close it and they will reopen the case. But if it's dismissed for extrinsic fraud, that means there was intent, that what they did was intentionally wrong. No further action shall be had. The case has to be closed and it never can be opened again. I'll give you one quick example.
Okay.
To support what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, I'm educating him on the process. He go in. The actual fake judge is literally saying that child support committed fraud. Everything that he said that they did, he proved it. It was fraud. But what they did was they said it was a mistake. They didn't everything as far as what they did, it was hinting at fraud. All they said no, it was a mistake. And they said we're going to close the case because they made a mistake. And he called me and he was like, yo, cuzzo, they dismissed my case. I was like, okay, cool. Why they dismiss it? And he was like, on what grounds? And he was like, well, they said mistake. And I was like, oh, if it was me, I would have objected to it. Did you object? Right. And he was like, nah, I didn't. I was like, bro, they gonna open that case back up within 3 months. And he hate when I tell his story because in that event, what I would have did, I would have objected to it and said, no, it wasn't a mistake. It was fraud. By him allowing them to say that it was a mistake, an error, they closed the case and they opened it right back up within 3 months
Okay.
because it wasn't dismissed for fraud. So I'm agreeing with you 1,000%. It just depends on how the actual case is closed.
Right. I guess my issue with that is because again, like we said this yesterday, and I just want to make sure that we say in this video as well, we are not attorney. Everything that we discuss here is for information purposes only. It's not to be taken as legal advice. The issue that I'm having with that is because if we compare that to your case, the reason why it was dismissed without prejudice is because it was proven that the child was not yours. So they can now reopen that case again, no matter how many, they just can't because biologically it's not your child, But now if someone have participating in making of a baby, that's your biological child, whether the child support have made a mistake or not, whether you can prove it, get it dismissed or whatever, they can always come back after you for child support for two reasons. Like I was saying yesterday, number one is the child support services or the family court in general, it was never designed to basically follow a law. It was, it was designed for a judge to make a decision based on what he believed or what she believed to be fair. You get what I'm saying? So there was no law. You get what I'm saying? And number two, they can also come back to you. They can also come after you again because of the best interest of the child. What I'm saying?
I knew you were going to say that.
Say that again?
I knew you was going to say that.
But you see, the reason why I keep bringing that up because I every time I go to court, right, those are the two main things that they always get people at. You get what I'm saying? Like you can make it the best argument, but if you don't have physical custody of the child, no matter what argument that you make when it comes to child support, you will almost always lose it. Because with those two factors, they will always get you. You get what I'm saying?
My follow-up to that would be just this year. Actually, it was the end of last year. The guy, his Instagram name is 1500 to talk. The older guy, I post him on my page all the time.
Okay.
He got his case dismissed. Same thing. They dismissed it for extrinsic fraud. It is 1000% his child. He never denied it. This is my kid, DNA, all that. This is my kid. It was dismissed for extrinsic fraud. His case got dismissed. They ain't opening in that case back up. It's closed.
Okay, let me ask you this though. That you say is biological child and the case got dismissed. Who have custody of the child?
The mother.
The mother have full custody of the child.
That case is, it literally says the case is closed and it cannot be opened again because they intentionally violated their own procedures.
What procedure they violated? You get? Listen, the reason I'm asking this, right? Because I would hate for someone to watch this and think that we are trying to, I know people will try this. You get what I'm saying? I know somebody will try it, and I would hate for somebody to just come back and say, you know what, we were just basically talking out of a, But for a case like that, personally, for me to believe that, I would need to see that case. I would need to look at the document, read it for myself, and see where the child support services messed up at and where the judge actually made the decision to say that, okay, this case can never be open again because of.
So I'm gonna tell you exactly. I'm gonna tell you exactly where they messed up at.
Okay.
They said that they served him at a location similar to mine. Mm-hmm. Now, remind you, they said that they served me at a house, which I later proved was a vacant house. Mm-hmm. With him, they said that they served him at a house, but on the date where they said that they allegedly served him, he was in a federal penitentiary. He had an alibi. So they we know he wasn't there because he was incarcerated.
Right. But that still don't change the fact that, go ahead.
So this is why they forged the signature. So that makes it, and that's the intent, because they said they served him at a location when he was in a federal penitentiary. So at that point, when he presented this, said, hey, look, I'm looking at the proof of service. You say you served me. You say you got my signature from this date at this location because the process server certified under penalty of perjury that everything is true and correct. And I said I served you directly here at this location. The federal penitentiary said, no. Mr. Such and Such was in the feds at this time. He couldn't have been there.
Mm-hmm.
So when the judge looking at that, and there's a Supreme Court case law which actually where the precedents come from. It's like you can't at that point it's void. That makes it a void judgment. That means that it's void past, present, and future.
Okay.
And just for the people out there, and then for you to be able to look at it, that is called it's the County of San Diego versus Gorham.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's say I believe you. All right. Which I'm not saying this to mean anything. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. I'm just saying personally, I don't believe that until I can see that case. I have to read that case myself, right? But let's say just for this conversation purposes, let's say I believe you. What is their custody arrangement right now between the person that you are referring to with the mother of his child?
The kid is now an adult now.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we go, okay, so the kid is what, 18?
The kid is 8. The kid had aged out, but the thing is, there were still arrears that was owed to the mother and to the state. All of those arrears to both parties are gone.
See, I have to see that, to be honest with you. I have to see that to believe that, because I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're wrong, right?
So here's the thing. So let me ask you this: can a person obtain a passport owing more than $2,500 in arrears?
No, they cannot.
My man just got a passport. He out of the country, bro. It's posted It's posted. You can go look.
Again, listen, man. I don't want you to think that
you can go on my Instagram page right now. You're gonna see a video with me and him live. He holding his passport.
I mean, he can look. Okay. Listen, man. He can listen to me. He can hold whatever document that he wants until I see the court document stating that this man. You know what you're telling me? I have to read it from an official court document for me to believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can send me that, I will include it with this podcast for everybody to see. Now, again, I'm not doubting you. I'm just speaking based on my personal experience. I'm literally in the family court every other day. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just telling you based on what I know, based on what I see. But again, let me say this. I'm gonna let you finish. Again. The family court, I just want to make this point. The family court is not the same in every, although they're supposed to be the same in every jurisdiction, in every state, but they're not. Because, again, what I keep saying, it comes down to the judge's decision based on the judge, whatever judge believed to be fair. You get what I'm saying? So it may work in your state or it may work with your client. I don't know. But me personally, with all the attorneys that I talk to, with all the attorneys that I've had the privilege to do a podcast with many more that I have episodes that I will be releasing soon. And then the thing is this though. Before I even sit down with you, there's certain things that I had to sit down with some attorneys to really clarify or get some clarification before I even bring these questions to you, because I wanted to be sure that our conversation it goes well. You know what I'm saying? When somebody watch this, like I keep saying, somebody watch this and go, you know what? I have learned something that I can take to court and win a case or get some type of a favorable outcome. You get what I'm saying? So, but what you're telling me without court document, it's very hard for me to believe.
I feel you. And so I want to touch on 2 points.
Okay.
We'll start here and then I'm gonna go somewhere else because to touch on something else that you said.
Sure.
And I'm not disagreeing with you at all, and I don't want anyone to see that as a disagreement. This is actually a very healthy conversation. When you're saying I'm in the courtroom, I see this, and I'm doing this. Many attorneys that I speak to, all of these things, the difference is most attorneys that you're speaking to, they practice law in a certain state. They're practicing under state statutes, and yes, the court system, the family court system, they go off these family codes and these lower level codes. The thing is, I didn't use any. That's why I never played state games. Because yes, this is how things operate. The way you said exactly, that's exactly how it operates for a person that does not come in there invoking their constitutional rights. And I know the child support and the Constitution, I understand all that. But the way my brain worked, I connected the dots to where I was able to use it in my hearing, and people after me have been able to use federal law, United States codes, Code of Federal Regulations, and the Constitution, Supreme Court case law in their child support hearing. How? I'll just give you one gem, and then I'm going to jump somewhere else. Howlett versus Rose says that federal law is enforceable in state courts even more so than the state statutes themselves. That's one. Two, when we talk about the best interest of the child, I love when they talk about the best interest of the child. You know why? Because when my case got dismissed, they said a child support attorney says, well, if the case is dismissed, we wasn't the only person that got money. The girl got money too. What about all the money that we took from him? How are we going to give that back? That's not in the best interest of the child to make her pay that money back. Objection. No. I'm not going to allow you to say that. Why? Because in Blessing versus Freestone, when those 5 women from Arizona sued child support services for keeping all the money, what did y'all tell those 5 women? Child support was never intended to benefit the child nor the custodial parent. It was intended to benefit the state. So don't come here now telling me that it's in the best interest of the child. No. You already said it was never intended to benefit the child. It was intended to benefit the state. So I didn't allow them to play these state games with me. Everything that they tried to use against me, I used their own procedures and policies against them, and that's how I was able to obtain remedy.
The last thing that you say about child support that benefits the state, I completely agree with that. As a matter of fact, when you are filling up this the child support paperwork, at the bottom it tells you literally that this paperwork or this agency is for the state. It's not for you. It's not for your child. I 100% agree with that. But again, to my point, the difference between your case with someone like me that have 2 children that I have helped to make, it can't work. You get what I'm saying? Like, they can always come back to me on that. Now, it's good to know the code. It's good to know the law. But the point that I keep trying to push forward is that the family court is not a court of law. It's a court of equity. You can know the law. You can know the code. You can know the procedure. You can know all that stuff, which is great. This is why a good attorney, right? Before I finish that point, this is why a good attorney can never promise you the outcome of a case. They can never promise that, because at the end of the day, you don't know which way a judge will lean. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you have been in front of that judge a number of times, you know what he goes for or what they don't go for. You get what I'm saying? Like, you understand the pattern, so you will present your case in a way that you know that they may lean towards you, but at the end of the day, you just can't promise it. And what people forget, right? And this is the mistake that many of us make. We always forget the human factor of the whole family court system. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, judges are human. You know what I'm saying? Like, a judge can be having a bad day when it comes to court, and he look at you. You will remind him of maybe somebody that he argued with last night, and then he will rule your case based on the emotion or whatever problem that he had the night before. We always forget that. You get what I'm saying? And we also forget that sometimes these judges, right? They know each other in that courtroom. The bailiff know the judge. You get what I'm saying? Some of these attorneys they have good connections with the judge. You know, so when you're standing before this judge, all these things plays in your case. You get what I'm saying? But the ultimate decision, it comes down to that one man, that one single man that can literally just hit that gavel and say, you know what, this is what I want to happen, and that's exactly how it's going to happen. You get what I'm saying? So I can never compare your case to mine, because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, that was not your biological child. And that, in my opinion, that is how you were able to win your case. But if someone like me come up to the judge with the exact same thing that you have done, it won't work. You get what I'm saying? It won't work. Now, again, I'm not saying that it did not work for other people. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying I didn't say that it didn't work for your client, but I'm just saying, based on me personally and based on my experience, it won't work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and from my experience, that's the perspective of every attorney or paralegal that I've spoken with, because, no disrespect, you're operating under these state statutes. I just didn't play by those rules. And you're right. And now everything, as far as the judge, they may have bad days and this and that. But what I did was I let that fake judge know. I said, look,
Let
you're
that fake
bound.
judge know.
You're bound by the supremacy clause. You're bound by the supremacy clause to remain impartial and to uphold this Constitution. Now, because when we get into it, because I know that you're not an actual judge, and I know you're gonna try to, you think you have partial immunity, but I I'm not giving no legal. I'm a.
I get you. I get you. I get you. I get you. All right, let's debunk this thing real quickly, and I'm gonna let you go if you have to go. This your Instagram handle, your social media handle, child support is fraud. Do you believe that child support is fraud?
Yes.
Okay, what way?
Child support is fraud because it violates the United States Constitution. It
Okay.
operates, Congress has allowed child support to operate in all three branches of government. You being a paralegal, you know that there's judicial, legislative, and executive branch. If you're in one branch of government, you cannot partake in another branch of government. Child support is creating their own family codes, legislative. They're enforcing and modifying their own orders, executive, and they're finding you guilty in their own state hearings, where the state is a party to the action, and they're finding you guilty in their own state hearings, and they're also getting incentivized under 42 USC 658A based on the performance to put you on child support. So therefore, you cannot get a fair trial under due process in its state hearing. So therefore, that makes child support fraud in its entirety. Now, what I like to clarify is when I say child support is fraud, that's what I mean, that the entire system, it violates its procedures, it violates the United States Constitution. That has nothing to do with it. I do not challenge a parent's responsibility to take care of their child. Every parent should take care of their children. That's why my tagline is, every time you hear me say child support is fraud, right behind it is take care of them kids, though, because this ain't no get out of jail free card. I'm just educating people on the rights that are available for you to be able to create. You go do your own research, and potentially you can create a more competent defense for yourself based on the free education that's on this Instagram page. More than what you had than going in there, making a general appearance, waiving your rights, giving them jurisdiction over you, consenting without knowing you consenting, signing your presence is. There was one guy. He said, I kept asking him, "Where is the contract? Show me my wet ink signature. Show me where I signed up to be in this program." The fake judge told him, "You can contract me till your face turns blue. The fact that you're standing right here before me today is the contract." I said, "Oof, that was cold." Because what he's telling you is that summons that was sent out to you when you came and you volunteered and provided your financial information, filled out the income expense report, you came and showed it to your hearing, you gave us all your taxes, you recognize our authority. All you got to do is just read what a general appearance and special appearance says. Look and see what it says. It says when a person comes to, for any reason, you show up and recognize the court's authority, you are giving us jurisdiction over you, even though we didn't have it in the first place.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, the only pushback I have on that is this: child support within itself, it's not fraud. Now, the way that child support services go about collecting and enforcing child support, that's when the question of fraud comes in, because within their system and their way of doing things, you have a lot of things that pops up. You know what I'm saying? Like they violate your constitutional rights. They violate your sometimes even your freedom of speech. There's a lot of violations that comes with that. And I think the best way, and you can correct me with this, the best way to get out of child support is to win custody. If you are able to get custody or have your children the majority of the night with you, that is the number one way to get out of custody, or have a relationship with your baby mama, the mother of your children, whatever, so you and that person can set this out without going to court.
I
You get what I'm
agree with
saying?
you on that. I
And
agree with
handle these things. And this is really what my platform is for.
Or
Yeah,
about
I agree
really.
with you.
You know, I've created this platform and in this podcast to educate people on how nasty the family court is. You get what I'm saying? And to your point that you were making earlier, that family court system, it was never designed for family. They are for the state, and their job is to take as much as they possibly can from you in your time of trouble, basically. You see what I'm saying? So if you can find a way to work it out with your baby mom, I think that's the best way that you can work it out. I think that's the best way that you can do, the best thing that you can do for your family. You get what I mean? So again, my good friend, I thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was a good conversation. I just wanted to clarify these few things before because I didn't want to end it the way that we got off the. You know what I mean? So anything that you want to add before we log off?
Yeah, I mean, everything, you can follow me, contact me. Everything is Child Support is Fraud. That's childsupportisfraud.com. Child Support is Fraud on Instagram. Child Support is Fraud on YouTube. Take care of them kids, though, man, because this ain't no get out of jail free card.
Absolutely. Thanks again, sir. I hope you have a good one, all right?
Peace.
Thanks for watching. If you like what I do here, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more coming on all things relating to family court. If you are dealing with a family court in any capacity, meaning if you are representing yourself, I have great resources on my website, which is iamadad.org. Until my next video, take care.